Okay, so yeah, first thing we want to just get an introduction here. So why don't you
Yep.
introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what your company and what you do.
So my name is Kirwin Bradley. I'm the owner of Suit Review, suitreview.net, suitreview.com. Everything Suit Review is me, all over the place. And I'm the largest, probably only, reseller of suit supply products in the world. So all the old collections, unreleased collections, samples, anything like that from Suit Supply, yeah, I sell it. So I collect it and sell it. I hunt all over the world to find the best quality products and provide it to people who don't have access to it or can't find it or things like that. Pretty much collections that are 1 year older and back. I hunt those down, and like I said, sometimes samples and sometimes, one-off pieces, things like that.
Okay.
Used, new, everything.
Can you tell I'm wearing one of your ties right now? You sold me this.
Yeah, I noticed that
Yeah,
actually I
yeah, this.
noticed that actually.
So yeah,
Yeah,
man, it works.
yeah, the blue paisley.
Yeah, this one very nice. It's one of my favorites. But with the gray, this one looks really nice.
Uh, I handpick all of that. All of that is
Yeah.
handpicked, Everything that everybody wears, it's just not thrown in a box and just given to me. I handpick every piece that everybody wears was handpicked by myself.
Also, it's like it. You can kind of say you're like the like a buyer. You know what you're choosing because of your
Yeah.
what sells to your clients, right?
Right. Well, I kind of know what you guys like to wear, or I have a really good fashion sense to know what sells, what doesn't sell, what would sell, what wouldn't sell. So I kind of have a sixth sense for it, where I can go into a room of 3,000 suits, and I can simply pick out, yeah, okay, they need that in this size. I need this amount of sizes. I can pretty much tell what I need just by looking at it, because I'm an enthusiast too. So and I
Yeah,
wear the
I
stuff
think that
just like everybody else. So I kind of have a sixth sense for that.
I think that that definitely helps out. That you being an enthusiast, that helps out a lot because you're not trying to make a buck here, even though I mean we want to be
Right.
successful, but you have passion for what you do.
Yeah, right. I always tell everybody, the same thing, you guys wear, I wear it too. I don't sling anything. Everything you guys are wearing, I'm wearing. I even pay retail sometimes for my pieces too. If they got something brand new in the store that just dropped, I'll do custom made and I'll pay full price too, just the same way you guys do. Not all the time, but for
Mhm.
select pieces I will. So I wear it too, just like you do. So, there's no
Yeah,
there's no ripping off here or no slinging, just slinging stuff. This is professional stuff here.
and I think you gotta love the product too that you're selling. Otherwise, it's
Right,
like people are not gonna buy into it. Like you gotta know what
right.
you gotta know the quality that you're offering, and you gotta love your product essentially to be able
Yeah,
to sell it.
and that's the easy part.
Yeah,
Nothing
and
makes you
yeah,
happier than you get a fresh suit.
hey, yeah, it's like a kid on Christmas for me when I get a new suit.
Get a brand new
Um,
suit, man. Yes, sir. All right, time to go to the
yeah,
tailor. It's exciting. It's always exciting.
I'm actually a tailor myself, so
Oh, okay.
I'm not just an enthusiast. I'm also a tailor. So
That's good. That's good. That's good. I didn't know that one. That's a new thing I just learned about you now. I didn't know that one. That's cool. That's really good. So you don't have to deal with all that. You get everything done yourself. No waiting for him to do this or waiting for that. You can just get it done when you have time.
right, there's been times where I get the suit, I work on it that same day, and I put it on like in the morning, and then I take it. So that's a
That,
pretty good part of it.
that's awesome. And if you're tailoring it, you know exactly what's inside and how it works and can attest to the quality.
Of course, yeah. I think Suit Supply is a brand that I've never had any issues with, and
Nope.
even the customer service has been great, and so
Right. Right.
nothing bad to say about them, and the quality is just it's just there.
Right. It's there. It's
Yeah.
there.
I definitely want to know your story. I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but if you can get more into details, I know you had some time to think. This is how you got into the menswear industry and why.
Oh, I mean, it's such a long story. I don't know how much time we got, but I'll try and cover as much of it as I can. It's a little bit of a long story. But like we briefly spoke about yesterday, I've always been into fashion, just not menswear. In my 20s, I was always just into, just looking good in the style at the time. Diesel jeans and old. I'm a bit older, so
Yeah,
upper 30s. So back when I was young in my 20s, it was Abercrombie and Fitch and Diesel jeans and all these other crazy Ed Hardy and stuff like that. So I was
the
always
brand
into
was hot back
fashion.
then,
It
that
was a
was the
different era. It was a different era.
it sure was, man. And Hardy now, think about it now. Would you wear it now?
Yeah. Hey man, I was wearing I was wearing Armani Exchange. So I was just as a base, I was always into fashion. Maybe not necessarily classic menswear, but I was always into fashion. And just as I aged, one day it just clicked, and like I said, it was just a switch over.
I think that's usually how
So
it
I
goes for
was
most guys who, I'm not gonna say everybody,
mm,
but at least most. They were
right,
exposed to fashion, and then they notice that classic menswear, you get to a certain point in your life where it like
right,
makes sense.
right.
Just
Where it
big
just
brand.
makes sense. Yeah, right. It just makes sense. And Suit Supply really came out with a brand and a style design that really fit into that because it wasn't like super conservative, although they do have conservative suits. It was just like a little bit more refined. It was just more refined rather than those washed out jeans and stuff like that. So you could still wear a suit but still be stylish at the same time, and
Right.
that's something that I was looking for. I didn't want to look like I was a business guy wearing a drab colored suit all every day. I wanted something with some pop to it. That I can still showcase showcase my creativity and still look fashionable. So it was just the next step in evolution, I would say.
Yeah, I think they they
Just
they cater to a lot of young people for that specific reason. It's
right,
different, but
right,
it's not. And they have so much variety, like options for us, and it's
right.
just different. But if there's something for everybody, and it's just modern, and the cuts are there. It doesn't look like you said like a businessman like from the Wall Street, from the '90s.
Right. And
Uh,
if you need
it's
it,
just
it's
crazy
there.
how you
But
can't believe
yeah.
they used to wear that style of suit. It was just like baggy everywhere. You know?
Right, right. So that's briefly how I got started. And the story is I'll try to figure out how far I can go back here. I was I was looking it was at the advent I actually started at the advent of Instagram. When Instagram first started, I was kind of looking for a new business opportunity. When Instagram first started, there weren't many suit bloggers and stuff like that. And I kind of just started out with a name, taking pictures, doing stuff like that. And that's how I initially started because I was looking for a new business opportunity. And I wanted to combine something I was passionate about. I know it's always cliche, everybody says that, but I wanted to combine something I was passionate about and try to see if I can also monetize it as well. So that's always the best. It is true what a lot of entrepreneurs say. If you're passionate about what you're doing, it makes it a little bit easier. A job is still a job. And I think a job is always going to be a job, even if
Yeah,
you're an astronaut or a F1 race car driver. It's still going to be a job. But
exactly.
try to reduce the friction as much as possible. You know,
Right. Just try to find
so
that spot where it works.
that right, where it's a balance. It's always going to be. You're not going to love your job 100% of the time, but if it's something that you're at least passionate about, it makes it tolerable.
No, of course, yeah, definitely. I like
So
definitely,
um,
definitely times where it's tough, but I think that's just part of any business.
yeah.
And but like you said, just having the passion for it kind of like makes it worthwhile.
Makes it a lot easier and so I realized when I was suit blogging, so to say, back in the early 2012, I think I started. I
Mhm.
realized at some point that, hey, I can do, I can think I can make a living off of this.
Yeah.
So, I pulled some resources, and I started initially. If any entrepreneurs are listening out there, I started actually because I wasn't sure if I could just jump out first on my own, and luckily I had help that I started actually on eBay. I started out on eBay. Maybe some of you guys know me from a long time ago, but I started out on eBay for a long time. Just I think about 2000 February or March of 2017. I started out only selling just stuff on eBay, selling suits on eBay to pay, check the demand, how the demand goes,
Uh,
how the shipping works. You got to do a lot of research
I
before
was
you
just
jump
gonna say
into.
that that's a great
Yeah,
platform, and it kind of sets you up for what you are now, which is to do it on your own.
right,
And it kind of give you that practice, before you decided to, hey, I want my own store. I don't want to do it through eBay,
right.
anymore. But I'm sure you utilize any avenue, right? Like eBay, your store. Like I'm pretty sure. Do
I
you
I
still do that?
I tried I jumped on eBay first, and then with the advent of Grailed, I jumped on Grailed, but most of my business had ran through eBay from early 2017 to about let's see, the end of 2018. So about a
Hmm.
year and a half, I really ran my business on eBay and got a feel for the business, got a feel for how to ship, how to deal with this, how to deal with that, how to all of just everything about suits, quality control, financing, inventory control. You really get, it was like having training wheels on, like you just said.
Yeah,
It was really like having training wheels on.
dealing with
And
customers is definitely important
yeah,
as well.
right,
Because
right, 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 right. How much it
you
is,
got
because
that
there's a lot of things that go into it.
yeah.
A lot of things that go
So
into it.
so once eBay started, you found success there and
Yeah, I
decided, hey,
found success there. I found success there, and then I just kind of scaled up from there. I started learning about quality control, what's altered, what's not altered, what's damaged, what's not damaged, what's repairable, what's not repairable, what size fits what size does everybody want. So you get all this data. You get all this data, just from start. Luckily I could start there, so I was able to get all this data and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak until you figure out what exactly people want. So you start to learn your customers. What do they want? How much they want to pay for it. So by the time I went out on my own, I would say I even took too long, but because I'm a little bit conservative. But by the time I
mhm,
went out on my own, it was easy.
yeah,
Honestly, it was an easy conversion because I already had all the data before I
yeah.
even opened the first day.
And I think that shows on your page because it's not really about a lot of people they try to make it about themselves. This is just about the product, for you. When you go to the page, it's right to the point. It's easy to just purchase something and get out, get what you want and get out. I think
That's
that's really
exactly what I wanted to do. That was the initial idea actually. Just get
important.
in, get what you want, and get out. Because I know I like it that way, and I think a lot of guys
Yeah,
like it that way
it's
too.
simple, less time. You're there, you get what you want, and that's it. I'm not gonna stick around for other stuff if it's just a store. I see a lot of
Right.
entrepreneurs make that mistake initially when I think, but you having that experience with eBay, you knew like, hey, this is just gonna be for them to come in, buy it, and get out.
Yeah,
Uh,
I wanted you to get your purchase done in as little clicks as possible. That was the initial idea behind the website. I mean, it'll be revamped, but initial idea was, minimalism. Just get the
yeah,
pictures, get what you want, get out, because click around, say it
yeah,
takes too long, and then I was new on the scene, so I didn't want to create an overly complicated website, and it just keep it simple in the beginning, and you can find out again later, find out what people want, and then scale from there.
yeah. That's the best way to do it. It serves a purpose instead of just having a website. It serves a purpose.
Right, right. I mean,
So,
one. I always say that. to everybody, one step at a time. You try to do too many things at one time, it's gonna be a mess. One step after the other, like a baby, really.
Yeah, you gotta you gotta walk before you can run, and you gotta crawl
Yeah,
before you can walk, right?
it's absolutely true in business. I found so far,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I I,
So that
I
pretty much brings me to where I am, where we are today, and almost 10,000 followers on Instagram, and growing quickly, and
that's
a
amazing because
lot planned for the future.
I actually started following you when you didn't have like when you had, I think you just started the Instagram, and I
Right,
found you through an ad actually because you do a lot of ads on
right,
I
right.
found you through there. So, and then I saw the numbers have just been growing really really rapidly. So that's congratulations on that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, like I said, as soon as I do, as soon as I do a restock, I have a religious thing where as soon as I do a restock, I always invest heavily in social media marketing. Always. So every month I have a budget that I stick to religiously without fail.
Mhm.
Don't take that money and go do something else with it or fool around with it. Always dump the money. I always dump my money back into the business, back into more
That's
followers,
the
back
best
into more followers, back into more followers, back into the business,
way. That's
and
how Amazon grew. Jeff Bezos said, any money that came in, I just threw it at the business. That's the only way to expand and grow, but
that's
throwing
the
it
only
in
way.
yourself and the business.
That's the only, try and grow as fast as you can, so
Right.
that's, I mean, carefully, but, as fast as you
Strategically,
can. You have to strike that balance.
yeah. Strategically, you don't want to just, make
Right.
you're like playing chess. Trying
Right.
to you have to take
It's a,
risks. Strategic risks.
absolutely, absolutely. It's a delicate balance you have to try to maintain, and I try to do that. I try to do that with the ads and the growth, and maintain as much as I
It's
can.
working so far,
So
man. It's working so far in my eyes here.
so far
Um,
so good.
Yeah, another question is just what are your goals with Suit Review as far as I think we talked a little bit about that as well yesterday, and you said that you
Yeah.
actually want to make your own product. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, that's a down the road, of course. That's I mean, I don't know if or when I'll make my own suits, but
You
I
mentioned
definitely
twice.
have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of ideas for the future. As far as making my own product, I might start out with some ties or something like that, but something small. Again, like I always say, you gotta walk before you can run. I might start out with some ties in the future. But moreover than that, I'm planning a complete website revamp. I want to change the whole thing over, because right now we're at .net, because
Hmm.
because .com, I actually own the .com as well, and that's right under construction. I'm trying to organize some things with a web designer or a web company, things like that behind the scenes. I'm trying to organize. So that's coming. The .com is coming with a complete website refresh, as well as a marketplace where, because a lot of guys have reached out to me, stating that they don't have anywhere to sell their product once they're done with it. So maybe they'll buy a suit from Suit Supply, wear it for a season or two or whatever. And a lot of guys want to also sell their old suits to get some new suits,
And new stuff.
And
Yeah.
I think that marketplace that I am working on will definitely help that, as well as be able to offer a larger range of pricing to the average customer, because you have to have, yeah, I would like to have, prices, because a used suit, could be anywhere from $200 and up. So that would definitely help the website,
Yeah.
to offer a larger amount of product, at a price point where people and that everybody can afford, versus
Uh-huh.
just, my pricing. As good as it is, you want to, everybody has different budgets.
Right. Right. Yeah. I completely get.
So You know, some guys are, you know, I've had students reach out to me, interns reach out to me, and it can give them access to a high-end brand without the high-end price, you know.
Yeah,
So
at least
that's something,
get the taste of it for, you know, it might not be new, but at
right?
least they're getting
Yeah,
the quality, you know.
right, right,
It's a fair
exactly,
try.
exactly. So that's
Yeah,
and that's part of it, and you know, a lot of it I really want to go. You know, I watch a lot of Gary Vee. I watch a lot of
yeah.
Gary Vee, and maybe you guys know him too.
So do I. So
I
do I.
definitely want to go. I definitely am planning on going all in on social media in the future too. So I'm also working on that behind the scenes. So a lot of YouTube, a lot of Instagram, a lot of video content. You know, I'm just kind of getting used to being on in front of the camera because that's weird. It's weird.
No, I always tell
It's
people
something you
about
got
the
to get used
camera.
to.
I always tell people like it's at the end of the day, it's not about us, you know. Like we get on the camera, but it's like it's not about us. It's about the value we can bring, you
Right,
know. Like who cares what
right,
people say or think? It's like we're here to just give the value. That's at the end of the day, that's what matters. That's what people want, you know. We not how cute we look, you know, or you know, or they're gonna judge us. Like it's more about thinking, what can I offer, and you know, besides you know looks, or if like you said, some of us aren't blessed with the amazing looks, but you know, I think at the end of the day, value is more important anyway. Would you
right,
agree?
right. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, with the social media, I'm planning on offering a ton of value because I think there's a lot of a lot of holes in the market in menswear on YouTube that are missing. A lot of descriptions how things work. There's a lot of jargon that people don't understand on YouTube and just in general in the menswear world. So I want to bring all that to light and make things easier for you to just start wearing suits and not make it look as stuffy as I think it does look on YouTube because I think it looks a little bit stuffy and too gentleman-like. Not that there's nothing wrong with that, but it feels a bit stuffy, on YouTube. And I kind of want to bring a more relaxed and stylish element to it. I do watch a lot of guys, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with what they do, but I think I'm gonna bring a little bit more of a fresh and relatable content to the social media scene in the near future. So that's what I think I'm gonna do.
That's very important. Instead of I find that in the men's community, it's a lot of there's a lot of judging as well, you know, with
Right,
the lapel this or that. Like, you know, I think we all go through the same journey,
right,
and we should, we should consider that, and also, like you said, be more relatable. Like it doesn't have to be, so fancy all the time. It could just be like I'm gonna throw on a blazer and some jeans, and I'm gonna look good. You know, I'm gonna look grown up, and I'm gonna go to dinner, and that's okay. You know.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, I just wanted to feel more accessible that,
Mhm.
guys don't think, oh, the guys are uppity or anything like that. I want it to be relatable, that you could just go and put on a suit or put on a blazer or something, and you feel confident in it. You look good in it. You know how to style it, things like that, and just honest and open and more relaxed. I'm still working on the actual concept of the channel. Of course, that's not
Uh-huh.
done. I have an idea. Of course, it's going to be around menswear and around suit supply and around the brands I sell. But at the same time, I'm also thinking, man, maybe I should talk about some men's lifestyle, pepper it in with some men's lifestyle issues too. Pepper
Yeah.
it in because there's some stuff I would like to talk about too as well. Um, like I talked to you about yesterday. You can't, not everybody's blessed with amazing looks, but the best thing you can do, you can always dress good. Just like the same way that women put on their heels and their makeup and whatever else, we can also, step the game up, put on a nice suit. Maybe you're not the best looking dude naturally, but you can at least put on and dress really tight. And people will say, wow, man, look at that guy. And like I
Yeah.
always say, the saying from yesterday, make yourself memorable.
Yeah. I think people appreciate that, and women too do too when the effort is put in, especially when you put in the effort to get up and look, look your best. It shows
Absolutely.
people that you care, like you're not just some slob that, just showed up in like sandals or something.
Yeah, it's at least if you know, at least you dress well, you make yourself memorable, and it can also help in your social life as well as your professional life, depending on like I talked about again, what job you have. I
Yeah.
before I got into this business, I was in another business. Um, I was in the education business, selling educational services to companies. And you have to not only sell the product, you have to
Hmm.
sell yourself.
Right.
When you educate people in my business, when you educate people, people learn from who they like.
Right.
They learn from who they like. And I'm going to carry that mantra over to YouTube. If they don't like you, they don't want to learn from you. So you also got to sell yourself as well. And that's why, in my business, when I went to meet with companies to sell my services, I always wear not a suit, not a clown suit that's over the top, but I didn't just wear nothing against that, but a navy blue suit with a navy blue tie
Yeah.
and I wore something with some pattern that wasn't over the top. Wow, but it looked business professional, but not too conservative, somewhere in the middle. So they say, man, that suit looks good. Where'd you get that? So that's a nice talking piece too.
Yeah. And you know what? That it works because it's who you are. Like
Right,
it's not like like if you like let's just say you put on that navy suit with the navy tie, it's like now you're not being yourself.
right,
You're gonna feel like, man, like I could have just worn that other like I wanted to wear that. Like no, wear what you want to wear. It doesn't matter. Like it's gonna make you feel good, and it's gonna at the end of the day, it's gonna make you be you. And
right.
essentially, like you said, you feel good, and it's part of your personality, and people will just like you for that because you're being yourself. You're being real.
Right. You just bring I just brought the energy, to a meeting, and I'm wearing a little bit slightly bit of a funky suit, not too funky, but a little check or something,
Yeah.
and you're energetic and you're talkative and you're up there, they're like, wow, man, this guy's cool. He's confident because he can wear something like that. He's engaging, he's outspoken. We need somebody like that around here. We need some fresh air around
Yeah. I
here. And
agree, man. I agree.
that's kind of how I used it.
Right. If you want to be great, you gotta do what the great or do or did. You can't
Absolutely.
just blend in.
Absolutely.
I guess what are some advice that you have for any entrepreneur out there who wants to get into this retail space or just in business in general?
Um, depending on what you want to do. Leveraging social media, of course, I said that before, is the best thing you can do right now. Depending on your product, of course. Depending on your product, of course. But leveraging social media is the best thing to do. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. But first thing you got to work on, is having a good product. And luckily, I already have a good product.
Right.
I'm blessed in the fact that I already had a good product, and I just really need to just bring more awareness and awareness to the brand. And it's really tough to give advice, but again, the best thing to do, I've been in sales for a long time, is persevere. It's not really easy. It's going to be scary. It's just persevere, hold on, and just the biggest thing for me is you just sit down, you get a plan, you think things over, you do your research. Just don't jump into something, get an idea, and run right in. Think it through, think it through, think it through, and don't think too much, but you have to think it through, and
Right.
go one step at a time. You get a game plan, you stick to it, and you go one step at a time, and you try different things. I've tried different advertisements. I watch it, what works, what doesn't work. You try things and you say, okay, that worked this way. How can I make it better? Let me tweak it. They try this,
Yeah.
let me tweak it. Everything's not going to be awesome on the first shot. Everything's not going to be awesome on the first shot. I
I
mean,
agree.
for example, I had a lot of problems with because I'm a one-man show as of right now. I'm a
Mhm.
one-man show, and an example I would say was the product photography. In the beginning, the product photography was something that was really bad. I had a lot of trouble with the product photography, and with time, it got better. Now, all those pictures that you see are taken by me, and over time they've gotten better and better and better and better. And let me tell you, I know nothing, not the first thing about photography. Zippo, really. And it's not the most awesome pictures in the world because, like I said, I'm not a professional, but I spent 6 hours or 8 hours, or I don't even know how many hours on YouTube just learning about
Yeah,
cameras and lenses
the better.
and ISO and aperture and these kinds of things. And I have no background whatsoever, but I put the effort in. You know, Nowadays, just like Gary Vee always says, you have the world's largest encyclopedia at your fingertips. If you don't know how to do something, sit down, take a whole day, and get on YouTube and watch videos until your face turns blue. And eventually you're gonna get it.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
trial and error,
that's
and figuring out what works
trial
best.
and error. You take pictures, you edit pictures, it's not like I said, it's not you're not gonna be perfect because it's not my business. I'm not a photographer, but everybody says, man, I get a lot of compliments. They say, man, every time I see your pictures getting better and better and better and better. It's clearer, it's clear, it's clear, and I figure out, okay, I need this, so that didn't come out, and certain colors that so I've gotten good at colors. If there's a
Yeah.
navy blue suit, when I shoot a navy blue suit now, I know exactly what settings to pick. I know how to use the light, but
Mhm.
I learned all this from YouTube. You have the power. I would tell everybody, you have the power to do it yourself. Everything is on the internet. If you had a question before, I'm sure someone else has had it before you.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuses. Pretty much anything you can think of is on the internet, YouTube, Google. There's
Yep.
really not, I mean, most of the stuff that I've learned on my own.
Right.
And say, but that's part of being an entrepreneur, though. You have to be able to like not just put yourself in a box and say, this is the only thing I'm doing. Sometimes you gotta like take pictures. Sometimes you gotta edit videos. Sometimes you gotta do this. Like you gotta be able to do it, everything, because you
Right.
being well that way. It definitely makes a difference at the end of the day, as far as like like you say, if you took the chance on getting your pictures better, but if you didn't, you probably wouldn't even have a website, just because you're like, oh, I don't want to take the pictures, I'm trying to look for a photographer. Like, you just find a way to do it.
You can't, man. You just have to. The stuff is there. You just go online, find out what's the best camera to buy. Best camera. I think I googled best cameras 2020 or 2019, and you just
Yeah.
read, 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 read. There's forums, there's YouTube, there's Google, and as long as I have the capital because I worked hard, so I saved the capital, and I just went down to the store. I spent, I don't know how much. I spent $1,200 and just got the stuff, got a tripod, got lenses, and just started. Because photography has its own jargon in itself, and you're like,
Mhm.
what? But if you keep at it, it starts to stick in your brain.
It does.
It starts to click. It starts to click what this is and what that is, and you just gotta, if you don't know it, you just gotta try and learn it, man. That's the biggest thing. You gotta rely on yourself, and you gotta have confidence in yourself and be resourceful. Be resourceful. There's
And I
of
think
course, you can't do everything, but you do what you can.
you do what you can, exactly. In the beginning, that's how it is. So you kind of have to do it on your own. I think in the future, when I believe your company is bigger, you're probably gonna want to hire some photographers, who are gonna do a better
Of
job.
course, absolutely.
You're gonna
That's
hire
some of
folks.
the next step that's coming because you can only do so much. You
Right.
can only do so much, and I'm feeling at the point now that I'm at. Uh, it's time. It's time to get someone on board with me and hire a videographer slash photographer to work with me directly, and that's what's coming. I mean, you know, I one thing I also want to recommend, to entrepreneurs out there, if you're listening, is this. I downsized when I was before. I started Suit Review. I was living in a much bigger apartment,
Hmm.
and you know, like Gary Vee said, sometimes you have to eat. Excuse me for cursing, but sometimes you have to eat shit. I moved into a much smaller apartment. Pretty much, I kind of live like in a warehouse right now, but I'm
Hmm.
glad I did it. I live like Suit Review is like a warehouse apartment type thing. And quality of life is not great right now, but you know what? I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Have a
And
plan.
it's right. I'm on my way and I'm really happy. And I went down to be able to start the business, reduce all my overheads, stop being fancy, like Gary says. And I did it. I did it a couple of years ago before he even said it. I knew that ahead of me. Got rid
Yeah.
of all the fancy stuff, drove an old car, um, live in a small apartment, bed, computer, work.
Yeah.
Bed,
Focus on
computer,
focus on
TV, work.
you started focusing on the things that actually bring in the capital instead of
That's
taking
right.
like a car is definitely not in
No, I
I'm sure one day when you do have a cap, I'm sure you're gonna get a nice car, a nice apartment. Just
that's
it's gonna be nice
absolutely,
to look back.
absolutely,
It's gonna be nice to look back and
absolutely,
be like, man, I went through all that. I did that. Like it was sacrifices that
abs,
have to be made, but
absolutely,
they were worth it.
absolutely. You gotta be ready to sacrifice for it and do whatever you gotta do to get there. It'll stop. One day you'll get there. As long as you make sure you're making progress as the seasons go on, as the months go on, keep an eye on it. Make sure you're moving forward. Maybe today is gonna be hard, but you know what? You have to think 2, 3 years from now, I'm gonna be winning.
Yeah, you gotta look at the
I'll
bigger
be
picture, of
winning and
course.
huh?
You
Yeah,
have to look at the
absolutely.
bigger picture.
You
Yeah,
gotta
I agree.
look at the big picture because if you want to get somewhere, you're not gonna be able to ride around in a brand new Mercedes S class and start a new business at the same time. And no, you just can't. You got to be ready to make some sacrifices, for the long term. And something like this, once you get off the ground, once you're set, you're
Yeah,
set. You're
you
gonna do
create that
something.
momentum. You create that momentum for yourself, and people know you, and you
People, you
know,
build a reputation. People go to you, and now you have a job. Now you're then, long term down the road, you're adding value to people's lives. You're adding value to your life, and you're doing something that you like to do. So it's win win win.
yeah,
So
that's exactly how it is, man. I
it's
think
and
sacrifices are a very, very important part of business, and not a lot of people talk about it, but you do have to sacrifice.
No, yeah, it's just the stuff like I always I repeat it 5 million times, but man, if Gary V is right, he's not right on everything, but he's right on that. You
Yeah,
got to be able not to be fancy and no bottle service and girls and
like
I'll
what are you
tell you,
celebrating anyway?
I'm sorry,
And what I remember, I used to party back then when I was younger, and like, what was I even
me
celebrating?
too, me too.
Celebrating, I should have.
Same thing. I used to be at the club throwing money and doing. I don't do that stuff anymore. I
Yeah,
don't do that stuff anymore. I just took all that, and I'm just. I just honestly, I just got kind of laser focused. It was not actually. It was not an easy thing to do. You real business. If you want to be successful in business, depending on the business you want to go into, there's a lot of sacrifice involved, man.
yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, sing you're single by yourself sometimes and alone. I mean, some people are lucky enough to have a wife or something with them, but me, I just had to kind of be single and just be laser focused in order to survive. I just found that was just what I needed to do
yeah. That's what
because there's a
that's
lot of there's a lot of distractions out there.
well, especially nowadays. I mean, you get on your
There's
phone
a
for
lot
one
of
thing, you
distract.
end up in like,
Yeah.
for I don't know, you end up somewhere else where you don't even you just went to go check your time, and now you're commenting on like some I don't know some post that has nothing to do with anything, but you're just there because it's I don't know like some funny post.
You
It's
just
easy to get lost. It's easy to get to waste
it's
time.
absolutely, just surround yourself with like-minded people. If you're grinding, surround yourself with grinders.
Yeah, I think
You
yeah, it's
know,
important because they're the ones who are gonna push you. Sometimes your family might not even like support you or think you're crazy or just doesn't get it or
abs-
doesn't see it, you know. But if you
you
have
know, you
people who
got to
are
expect that sometimes your family doesn't get it. They're from a different generation. You know, I deal
yeah,
with that too.
I deal with that all the time, man. But you know, like it's this is our journey, and we have to do what we have to do.
Yeah, we
And
got to do what we got to do. Absolutely. So,
uh,
and also, you go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna ask about quality and why it makes sense to pay more when it comes to at least to classic menswear. And I'll tell you my points, and you can share with me your points. At least for me, I feel that it's an investment that is worthwhile because you're gonna get your money's worth. Pay for more for that quality that's gonna last you 10 times longer, and also just educating the customer on what they're buying. I think that's very important nowadays. That when you can show your customer what they're paying for exactly, because a lot of companies miss that. They don't. You're just buying crap, and you could get something better for this amount of money, but you're not educated enough to know that you're just buying crap instead of investing a little more on a nicer product that's going to last more, and it's just going to make you feel better because of the way it was built, the way it was made, and so I think education of the customer is really important.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one reason why I want to, again, going back to YouTube, is the best way that people can see what you're wearing, and I can even point out, I'm planning also some styling videos to do with it, and I can say, hey guys, you know what? I actually got this suit used, and I say, really? What? It's used? Absolutely, I buy it used too, just to show you guys the quality. I bought it from here, I bought it from there, I bought it used, just to show you guys that it lasts and it looks good. And I even have still, suits that from when I first bought at Suit Supply, it's still work. I can still wear it. The
Yeah,
pants, it still fits. It's definitely worth it, to buy used, especially when you're buying not only for the quality, but also depending on if your needs, depending also for the resale value.
yeah,
There's a lot of that with so you can always continue evolving your closet, and that's one of the good things about paying for a brand like Suit Supply. It's honestly an investment too. You're not going to make money on it. It's going to depreciate like a car, but it's like a car that you sell after a certain amount of time, like a Toyota or something, where you buy it for this and you can sell it for that because it has the reliability.
yeah,
The depreciation, it just doesn't fall down, boom, in the floor. And now you spent $400 and now it's not worth anything. At least, of course, with Suit Supply, you spend $400 or $500 and you wear it for a season or two. You can still sell that same piece down the road for 250, two to 250, and recoup some of that cost and reinvest it into a brand new piece again. So that's something that a lot of people don't talk about, used suits, but now with the advent of sustainability, I think it's important. Sustainability is a big topic now, and I think that's fantastic, not only for the environment, but also for your wallet, for your closet. I mean, you can't go wrong.
yeah. I mean, there's been
Uh,
times where like I told you that I buy certain ties for a certain price, and like I wear it for like 2 seasons, and then I sell it and get almost my money back. So like I pretty much, like for example, if I bought a tie for like, let's just say 35, and then I sold it for 30, I pretty much just paid $5 for it, and I ended up wearing it, and then somebody else gets to use
yeah,
it, and
right.
and then you use
It
that
doesn't
money to
cause waste. Right.
profit.
It causes less waste for the environment. It's not going in a landfill somewhere. Somebody else, as long as it's in good condition, take it,
And it just
sell
looks
it,
better. I
so
mean, if
15
that's
bucks, and then they wear it.
just looks better too, man. I don't like the shiny stuff too much nowadays.
Right.
But I mean, there's certain occasions for sale, but nowadays I find that texture is like just a little bit better for me. But everybody's different.
Absolutely.
Everybody has their own style, so
Everybody
uh,
has their own thing, but it's absolutely worth it, to spend more for I would say for the premium brands instead of something just cheap from I don't even know, Zara or whatever, or some of these places. I don't want to call anybody out, but
I mean, there's nothing wrong
but
with it. Like, that's where you're
right,
at. This is where your budget is.
Exactly. I mean,
Down.
if you have a budget, it's better. In my opinion, if you have a budget, it's better to buy high end used rather
Yeah.
than junk.
Yeah, I agree. You can
And
get on
you see
eBay,
a lot, right?
get some nice pieces for about the same price and 10 times better.
Right. I know everybody wants to be new. You know, everybody have the newest this, newest that. But again, cut the fanciness out. Cut the fanciness. Who's seeing if your suit is 2 years old? Who's seeing it? As long as there's no rips, stains, or tears, and that's the beauty of classic menswear. Nobody's seeing if it's 2 years old, and it's actually cool. It's if it's 2 years old. That's I have a whole business around this. If you
Yeah,
got one of those old suit supply fits that you can't get anywhere anymore, people are like, man, you got that suit? Oh my God. Even sometimes, honestly, on my website, um, the items that have been discontinued and sold out. I think I sold a suit a while ago from when I first, yeah. I think the suit, one of the suits I sold recently in a 46R. My memory is really good because I wanted that suit, but I didn't
yeah,
buy it because there's a suit, and I'll just tell a quick story. There's a suit, a gray wool silk linen suit. It has a blue check in it, and I wanted this suit so bad when I first started selling suit supply. And I
yeah,
didn't buy it. I didn't buy it for myself. I got it in my size. I did. I had it in my size. It's a Lazio. And I wanted it, but I didn't buy it because I was so panicky about my budgeting. I want to make sure my rent's paid, this is paid. So I didn't, but I managed somehow just the other day to get it in a 46L. Not a 46L, sorry, 46R,
mhm,
and it sold for top dollar. Top dollar. And this suit is a suit that I sold in 2017. And now in 2020 summer, it sells for top dollar because you can't get it no more. You can't
yeah.
get it anywhere,
It's
So
it's not easily accessible anymore, so people want it
it's
even
not.
more willing to pay
I
that
don't.
price.
I don't even know where to get another one. So that's the beauty in itself of classic menswear. It's an investment, and
And
he can wear that for this summer, and I'm sure he can get $300 for it at the end of the summer if he only used it a couple of times. It's nothing.
I agree. I agree.
Absolutely.
I have a lot of suits that I like, recycle or wear that I've had for a lot of like years, and
Right.
still look
Right.
good
Absolutely.
because the quality is there.
Quality is there. It's better to spend the money on quality used rather than super expensive new that's out of your budget and things like that. Nothing's wrong with new, nothing's wrong with used. Everybody's different. But if you don't have the budget, it's always better, in my opinion, to buy used. And I wanted to talk about too, another thing to support that is you'll see Nordstrom has got into the used items. Outside of the menswear world, women are doing this already with pocketbooks. Women already are doing this with Rent the Runway. Women already doing this. Women are ahead of us on this frontier.
Yeah,
I'm working on bringing this to menswear before anybody else is doing it. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to bring some of that. Like not saying rent a suit, but there's a platform for us to do that as well. As well as uh, bring fresh brands to the United States that really nobody knows about. Because I'm over here in Europe,
hmm,
a lot of things, a lot of brands are actually unknown. I don't know why it is like that in Italy, but it seems like they have a lot of good brands that are relatively still unknown um,
yeah.
in the U.S. Of course, some of them are already there, and to real enthusiasts, they know. But
Would
still,
you would you say
so
your end goal is just to have to give access to quality to no matter your budget, just to give you that
my goal is is correct actually, right. My goal is to be able to get high. My end goal is to get high quality on at least on the website side, high quality vetted suits regardless of your budget. Regardless of your budget. If you got $200, I should be able to get you a used blah blah blah, and but that it's good. that it's
Yeah,
from one of the best fabric mills or whatever it is. I want to try and get everybody in high quality suits, no matter your budget. Of course, that's
yeah,
a big task, but that's, we can reach for the stars. Let's see.
yeah. It's you got to have big goals to be able to get anywhere. You know, you like when
Right,
somebody
right,
you can't make a billion if you're not if you're you can't make a million if you're not thinking of how to make a billion. You know, it's like you
right.
like
I'll just
you're
shoot for
focused
that,
on
and
you're focused on trying to make a million so bad that you're like not thinking above that. But when you try to make a
exactly.
billion, like you're past the million to try to get to that billion without even realizing, you know? So you gotta have big goals. Like you have to.
I am in it for the long haul, and I'll give it all I got. The guys support me, I support them, and I'm willing to give it, 110% until I can't give no more. I can't wait to really throw some gas on it and really get started working on things and trying to uh, create a nice site where you can access everything that you don't even have to think. That's what I always try to say. I want to create a website where you see so many of my videos on YouTube and so much of my content, and you build a relationship with me and I build a
Mhm.
relationship with you, that you don't even have to think if this is a good product or not. You
They
just
just
know.
you're just there to buy, you know,
That's
they just
right. You just like, you don't have to look at a product, because how many times do you go on a website like Farfetch or whatever, and you look at the brand and you're like, I never heard of this. Man, I
yeah.
don't know. What is that? Is it good? Is it bad? I have no idea. But with me, you're gonna be able to go to YouTube or whatever, or my blog, and you'll be able to access that information, see a video, see me wearing that piece, because I am planning on making a video with every single brand that will be listed on Suit Review. Besides Suit Supply, it doesn't matter what brand, you will see me in a video wearing that brand, no matter what, so you can get a hands-on look, what I said about it, the good, the bad, the beautiful. You'll see it, and that's the goal. You see, even on another website called The Rake. Now, The Rake is awesome,
Yeah. I've heard
fantastic, fantastic resource. But
yeah.
and the brands are expensive. It's luxury brands. I understand their market. They do a good job, but I don't know the brands. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
who, and then they have a nice website, but it's still, again, you're kind of like, who?
And, like
No
you don't know
offense,
about the
but
fit, you don't know how it's gonna fit, you don't know because every brand has a different fit, you know?
they have a different, but it's just that they say, oh, we manufacture it here, we manufacture it there. That's nice to see. It's great to see. Okay, it's manufactured here, it's manufactured there. It has high quality fibers here, but it's still. I feel like something's missing. I
Hmm.
feel like something's missing. You see the model maybe in a picture in it, and you're like, it looks good, but uh, you can't feel it. And when you have someone on camera like me, or maybe somebody that helps me talking about it, doing fabric close-ups, showing you this, zooming in, zooming out, you walking down the street with it, talking about it on camera. Okay, so this is so and so from this so and so brand out of Ireland, and it costs this so and so, and now that's high, but it's this and it's that, and I think that there's not really a website that does that,
Yeah.
for the brands that they sell.
Again, that comes back to the educating the consumer. So like when you say
Right,
they know what they're getting, and when they go to the store, it's just they're just there because they know they're gonna buy something, you know? It's
right.
just works. I think that's very smart, man. It's very
I
smart.
think that's something that's right. I think there's something missing. Pictures just don't show it. Pictures in a story just aren't enough. I just feel like it's just not enough. I mean, it's my job, so I take chances on brands and just see what I get. But you still kind of just see what you get.
Yeah.
Honestly, you take. I saw. You've seen recently. I tried some Tagliatore. I still knew nothing about the brand. It looked good in pictures. I mean, I thought it was good, but
Uh-huh.
I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't confident in that purchase when I first purchased it. And that's something I think I want to kind of remove.
Yeah.
That
Would
that
you, would
that
you
that
say
that apprehension.
would you say like what about have you ever thought about like sending samples of like let's just say if I'm interested in buying this suit, can you send me a sample of the fabric? Do you think that's something that would be like a
I
good
mean,
idea?
that's not something I've actually thought of before, but I always take ideas into consideration. That's never something I thought of before, but because you would have, you know, if you're running a website like mine, possibly in the future, you're going to have so many products, and that's a really tough logistical thing to manage to send people fabric samples because there's only a limited amount of fabric, and you don't always have extra fabric, so that's tough. But I think that
Yeah,
again
the
back to
cost.
I think back again right to the cost and stuff. But I think again back thing through video in itself, you should be through video and conversation and proof through that. I think it's uh, the best way, you know, the way of the future too. You know, they
Yeah,
was talking about virtual reality, and I
without
think
having to
that's
actually send it to somebody, and just like if you just want to find it through the computer, yeah, that's probably the best way.
the best way. The best way. I mean, who knows? Maybe one day I'll end up in actual brick and mortar, but I mean, that's a long ways away. You know, I want to do what I'm planning to do first, and you know, be do a lot of media and the website and put all that together. And first, I want to build the community and go from there. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it goes.
I'm excited for you. I think this is only the beginning. You're obviously doing all the right things. It looks like we're almost out of time here. We got about 6 minutes, I believe.
Sure.
So I just want to take the time to thank you for your time and for sharing some of the questions that I asked, some value, providing some value here.
No
Uh,
problem. No problem.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
And said, man, I'm one of your customers. You can see I'm wearing your tie too, so that's um,
Nice.
yeah,
Always nice to see. Puts a smile on my face to see my customers wearing stuff that I sell. I always like to get those pictures on Instagram. I always repost them anytime someone sends me a picture. Look, I'm wearing your suit. So I'm gonna repost that back in the stories.
yeah. I mean, I mean, the quality is there. What like I'm a big believer in quality, so so yeah, thank you. And any last thoughts that you want to say? Where
Um,
where to
uh,
find you?
what do I would say? I mean, you know, just stay tuned, guys. I know I've been around for a bit. I wish it was going a little bit faster, but all things, all things come good with time, and just hold on a little bit. I'm still hustling. I'm still working on a lot of things. I got a lot of things in the pipeline. As soon as the coronavirus epidemic comes to a standstill, I will be like a bullet out of a gun. I'm gonna just shoot. I got everything ready. This thing just jumped out of nowhere and put a
Yeah,
pause on me. But
saw someone say that the coronavirus is cock blocking everything and everybody.
it's killing me. You know, a guy like me right now, it's killing me to sit at home quarantined. Oh my God.
Yeah, doing something always, man. I agree. But I'm glad we could do this here and at least get some
Take
stuff
advantage of
going.
the time. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and
All right, man.
yeah,
Well,
it was great talking to you, man. And I'll stay in touch. And
absolutely. Thanks for reaching out.
hey, thank you very much, man. You have a
All
great
right.
good day.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
See you. Bye, everybody.